I want to leave you with a practical example of how the light masculine can be overused early in an interaction and what to do differently. So I had a client who was introduced to a girl and he was very attracted to her and he wanted to date her. So he started to get to know her over text message and they began talking over a period of weeks or possibly even a month or two before meeting up in person. When he did meet up with her, he was planning a date and he asked her what she would like to do. And she picked out a restaurant and they decided to go there. It was a very fancy restaurant, one of the nicest ones around. And the night before they were to meet, she sent him a message that said, "Hey, I just want to get to know you at this point. So I just want to be clear that I don't want anything physical to happen between us because I'm still getting to know you." And of course he was quite frustrated to receive this message, but he said, "Okay, no problem." And he went out with her anyways, and they had a nice meal and they went to this great restaurant and they hung out. And at the end of the night, when he tried to kiss her or escalate things, she turned him down. Nothing happened, but they continued to talk and she wanted to go out again and she wanted to go on another fancy date. So let's take a look at this interaction and see if we can identify some of the areas where he went wrong. So first of all, you never want to build a relationship with a woman before you've slept with her if that's what you're interested in, because when you do that, you're showing too much availability and too much commitment. Essentially, these are your light masculine, your good guy qualities, and you're showing her too much of that before you have developed sufficient attraction with her to actually get her into bed. So as a rule of thumb, when you meet a girl, you use texting only to set dates to meet up and you get to know her in person. This is super important. And you want to avoid building connection through text message because there's a high risk of getting friend zoned if you do that. Secondly, to show your dominance and leadership, you need to be the one who plans the date. That means that you decide where you're going, you pick her up for the date, you take her, you don't even need to tell her where you're going, you lead her through the evening, you take her from one venue to another, you invite her to your house afterwards, you escalate things physically with her, and if you're attracted to her, you try to sleep with her. In this example, when my client asked her where she wanted to go, she was forced to activate her masculine and put her into a leadership position where now she was deciding how the date was going to go. This is very repelling to women because they want to be led. So you never want to ask a woman what she wants to do in the early stages of getting to know someone, dating, prior to sleeping with her. You want to show that you are a leader and that you have everything under control. Similarly, she's going to expect, if she's attracted to you, she's going to expect that you escalate physically on her. She's not going to make a move on you. She wants you to show that you are the man, that you are in charge, and you are going to decide what happens. Of course, she has the ability to say no or control the pace, and that's totally fine, but you're going to be the one who's leading the interaction. You're going to be the one who's deciding when things are going to escalate. Third, when she said that she wanted to take things slow and she didn't want something physical to happen, what he should have done at that point is actually cancel the date. Or at a minimum, he should have said, I'm not looking to be friends. And so if you're not interested in anything more, let's not meet up. And he could at least test to see what she says at that point. Most likely, he's already failed at generating enough attraction that she is willing to take that step with him, and instead she just wants to go out with him to validate her ego or to feel good or to feel like she has some attention, because women do go out with men for that reason. And he definitely should not have agreed to go on an additional date with her after he went out with her and nothing happened. And guys, I also want to mention that there are going to be situations in which you do everything correctly, that you are showing up in your dark masculine, you are showing up with confidence, with purpose, you have dominance, and there are going to be some women who are somewhat dominant themselves, right? Who are very pushy, bossy. And if that's the case, although it is possible to overcome this, any woman who is feminine wants to be led and dominated, right? That's what feels good to the feminine. So if you find that you're doing all of these things correctly after some practice, and the girl is still being very resistant, very pushy, very bossy, then it's best to just walk away from these situations because she is rooted more in her masculine. And I can tell you that these types of women are going to be a lot of problems for you. They're not sweet, they're not submissive, they're not very enjoyable to be with. So if you find that you run into a difficult woman who seems very dominant and is kind of displaying a lot of these masculine qualities, then it's better to just wait for a better one to come along that you will have a better quality connection with.